Hello everybody and welcome to your week 4 video. We are just over the halfway point now in the class, so that's always exciting. I am coming to you pre-recorded because with hopefully everything's going well, and I am on a plane right now heading back to Oklahoma. You can see behind me Jasper's still here. He moved and he has also been joined by Wesley. That's the cat on the chair now, and Jasper's realizing he made a horrible mistake by leaving and having to come over and see me. So now you get to look at Wesley, who's the real king of the castle around here. So we're crazy cat people here in Oklahoma City. And let's go ahead and get started and talk about week 4 because we've got several things to go through. So let me share my screen so we can get started. All right. Here we go. All right, so no reflections from week 3 because I haven't lived week 3 yet. And so let's just jump right into our discussion post. And so this theme for this week really is going to be on student demographics. And so your question is, why is it important to know the demographic information of the students when developing curricula? So, and how can this information have an impact on the design, development, and implementation of curricula? So this is actually a topic that's still pretty hotly discussed out there. So you should be able to find lots of good information on this. And I'm really excited to read what you all have to say about this because for me, even though I've taught this class many times, this is a new discussion post question for me. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. But remember, the same rules apply as always to the assignment, so it needs to be at least 200 words. You need to make sure that you're citing at least 2 scholarly references in there. Remember your reference list. Make sure you're writing this from a professional viewpoint. You're not writing it in opinion-based. You're writing it, so don't write in the first person, okay? You know what I'm expecting on the discussion post, so I feel really good about this and excited to read what you all have to say. Remember your initial post due on Thursday, your 2 peer responses due on Sunday. So your assignment this week is really like an ethnic makeup proposal. So it's actually broken up into 3 parts. And if you look at in the course room, they make it much broader than what it needs to be. So once again, I'm going to simplify this. You're not going to do a PowerPoint. You're going to provide a narrative, but it's actually broken up into 3 separate pieces. And so really the first 2 pieces don't have a whole lot in the way of narrative writing. It's more of just creating information. So let's talk about each piece of this. And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a table of the school population where you work at. And so this is going to be based off of student population. All right, so what I'd like you to do is provide a table that does an ethnic breakdown of the number of students that you have, and I'd like you to break this down by male and female too. So imagine having a table where you're going to list the number of white students you have, male and female, the number of black students you have, male and female, the number of Hispanic students you have, male and female, okay? You're going to do this for all of the different ethnicities that are represented within your school. And you would also make a separate column for ELL population, the number of students that you have that would fall under English language learners, okay? So you may be thinking to yourself, well, it's summer. How do I get this information? This information is accessible to you. At the worst case scenarios, you can get it through your State Department because this is all public record information. I'm not asking you to provide the names of students, and trust me, I've had somebody do that before, and that's a huge FERPA violation. I don't want it. I just want numbers, okay? And these numbers are reported to your State Department, and so they're used in lots of different ways. So your district could have this information easily accessible to you too. It could very well be on your school website. For us in Oklahoma, we do student report cards, school and district report cards that have ethnic breakdowns of the schools, okay? So find this information about your school and provide that. Now you'll notice that there's a spot for teacher ethnicity. Now this is optional because this is not necessarily mandatory as far as being reported because we're talking about employees. I do know that this information is out there, so if it's easily accessible to you, provide it. It would be great to be able to see However, if you don't have access to it, it's not a big deal. So you're creating a table of your student school population. That is part one. Okay? Part two is that you're going to create a survey regarding cultural diversity and how teachers feel about the topic. So you're going to create the survey. So here's what I'm looking for as far as a survey goes. I don't want multiple choice or yes, no type things. I want open-ended questions that you could put together for a survey that would help you gather some information about how teachers feel about the topic of cultural diversity or what they know about cultural diversity, okay? So how many questions should there be? If you're doing open-ended questions, you don't need a lot of them because what happens is you start getting survey fatigue with your people. So I would say keep it between 5 to 8 questions in your survey. And so when you build this, I don't want you to just try to come up with questions off the top of your head, because developing a survey actually takes a certain skill set that realistically none of us have. We're not experts in this area, but there are some great questions out there regarding cultural diversity. So do the research, find the questions, cite the sources, but build your survey based off of scholarly information from the experts out there, okay? 5 to 8 questions, what we'd be looking for. And so that part really shouldn't be that big either. It's the third part that's going to take a little bit more time and effort, and that is you're going to write a proposal on how you would conduct an in-service training focusing on helping teachers become more culturally sensitive. All right? So here's how I want you to write this proposal. I want you to write it as if you were trying to convince me as the building principal that this is an in-service that I want you to be able to host, okay? So you're going to really break this down for me. I want to know some key things. I want to know, what's the objective? What are we trying to accomplish here? What type of activities are we going to be doing? And why are those activities important? I want to know every piece of this. So I want you to really get descriptive in your proposal for an in-service training. I want to be able to read it and get to the point where I feel like, okay, this person's going to come in, he or she really has a plan for how they're going to conduct this in-service, and my teachers are going to get something out of it, all right? And it's based, and it's solid. It's based off of scholarly information. It's based off of current research. So I know that it's going to be something worthwhile for my teachers and a good use of their time. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you write this proposal. And so, as I always tell you in your writing, description is so important. So just some things to think about, and I've mentioned some of these already. For your student population table, if you need to, utilize your State Department of Education website for the information. However, I think that if you can get a hold of district officials, they should be able to pull the information for you really, really quick. That should be really easy for them to get for you if you can't find it yourself, okay? If for some reason you're not currently working in a school, utilize another school for the table, all right? Just I want you to be able to have that information accessible. When you're doing your in-service proposal, be descriptive in your writing. If you're trying to do that proposal in 2 paragraphs, that's not descriptive, okay? I want you to convince me that it's a worthwhile in-service project to be able to have my teachers do. Remember, with your survey, it only needs to be 5 to 8 open-ended questions long. So you're going to write this as a narrative, so you don't need a PowerPoint, but I understand when I get your paper, it's going to be broken up into 3 parts, basically. And so this should be a little bit easier for you to do than what's listed in the course room. So this is your ethnic makeup proposal that you're providing for the week 4 assignment. So you'll also notice as you went into the announcement section that it's time once again for an informal assessment. We always do that about the midway point of a course. So just like last time, I want to know how things are going. What do you think of the course? Do you have any suggestions for things, suggestions for me? Anything like that that you share with me, I'm going to pass along to St. Thomas. And sometimes it does make a difference when it comes to the content that's in the course room. So with that, that's what's going on for week 4. So I will say that the experience I've had with students with the ethnic makeup proposal is that it's a bigger assignment, especially because you are gathering information from several different places. So don't procrastinate. Get working on it right away, okay? So that way you have the information you need as early as possible and you can get to it. So please don't wait around. Hopefully by the time you watch this, I will have landed back in the States and be heading back to Oklahoma, and we'll be back on live uh, Zoom meetings moving into week 5. But as always, I will be in the course room if you need me, so don't hesitate to shoot me an email. Let me know what's going on. And work hard out there. You're over the halfway point. So best of luck, and I will talk to you live next week. Take care.